One morning I'm doing what I usually do on the farm, which is fixing something that shouldn't be broken while being shouted at by an animal that doesn't respect me. Then a courier turns up, not a normal one. Suit, clipboard, very polite, hands me an envelope so fancy it looks like it should contain either an invitation to the White House or a threat. Embossed logo, law firm, Seattle. And I'm thinking, here we go. Another corporate letter telling me how important I am to their brand while asking me to shut up. So I open it and I start laughing because inside is an offer to buy my farm, not rent it, not partner, buy it for £50 million. Now let's be clear, Diddley Squat is a nice farm, but it is not a £50 million farm. It's muddy. It leaks. It's full of sheep that actively dislike me. 50 million is not a valuation. It's a bribe. And that's when I stop laughing, because this wasn't from some random investor. This wasn't a hedge fund manager who'd lost his way driving to Oxford. This was from Bill Gates. Yes, that Bill Gates, the Microsoft one, the private jet one. The man who thinks sustainable agriculture means owning more land than most countries. And he wanted my farm. I read the letter again and again. Perfectly polite, perfectly legal, and absolutely chilling. Because this wasn't really about money. When someone offers you 3 times what something is worth, they're not asking. They're testing whether you're for sale. So I wrote my response. 2 words. Absolutely not. Sent it back the same day. And that's the moment everything changed. Because here's something you need to understand about very rich people. They are not used to hearing no. They hear negotiations. They hear delays. They hear, let's talk. But no drives them mad. And once I said it, I realized this wasn't a single offer. It was the end of a long process I hadn't even noticed was happening. Because while I was learning how to reverse a tractor without killing myself, something else was going on across the countryside. Land was being bought. Quietly, systematically, not by farmers, by companies, shell companies, trusts, investment vehicles with names so boring you'd fall asleep before reaching the end. And if you asked who owned them, you'd hit a wall of paperwork. But farmers talk, and every time a farm changed hands around Oxfordshire, the same name kept coming up in whispers: Gates. Not directly, of course, never directly, that would be vulgar. Instead, it was companies owned by companies, funded by funds, managed by people whose job title is strategic land acquisition, which is billionaire language for, I'll own everything and you'll be allowed to watch. Within a few years, farms started disappearing around me. 1, then another, then 3 more. Until one day, a farm right next to mine went up for sale. I thought about buying it myself, expanding a bit, giving the sheep more room to judge me, but I didn't stand a chance. I was outbid so aggressively it wasn't even funny. The buyer? Another company I'd never heard of. 5 minutes of digging told me everything. Same money, same structure, same source. Suddenly Bill Gates was my neighbor, and that's when the offers really started. First, a polite expression of interest ignored, then 20 million, then 35, then 45, each one bigger, each one clearer. This wasn't enthusiasm, this was pressure. And then came the letter, the one that named him, the one that called it a final offer. And the one that said, very carefully, that if I didn't accept, development around my farm would continue in ways that might affect my operations. That's not a threat, by the way. That's just how lawyers say, you'll regret this. And here's the thing, this isn't about me. I have a TV show, a platform, a column. Most farmers don't. If this is how it works when the owner is loud and visible, imagine how it works when no one's watching. So before we go any further, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, not because it helps me, but because this story isn't rare. It's just the first time you're hearing it said out loud, because once land stops being something you farm and starts being something you consolidate, everything changes. And in the next part, I'll explain how sustainable agriculture became the most dangerous phrase in the countryside. After the big offer came the explanation. Because with very rich people, money is never enough on its own. They always need a story to go with it. So this time the letter was longer, much longer, full of phrases that look nice on a PowerPoint slide and mean absolutely nothing in real life. Strategic consolidation, optimizing land use, sustainable agricultural development. Now, let me translate that into English you actually understand. It means bigger fields, fewer people, more machines, more sheds, more concrete, and a lot less farming. Because what they don't tell you is this. Sustainable doesn't mean small, it doesn't mean local, and it definitely doesn't mean peaceful. It means scale. And scale means industrial farming, huge barns that glow all night, constant traffic, processing facilities, warehouses, noise, light, dust, all perfectly legal, all signed off, all approved by people who don't live anywhere near it. And that's when I realized something important. They didn't need to buy my farm straight away. They just needed to own everything around it, because once you control the land next door, you control the environment, not the climate, the environment I live and work in. Planning applications started appearing, carefully worded, environmentally justified, legally bulletproof, one for a massive equipment storage facility, another for research and development, which is a polite way of saying more buildings, more traffic, more disruption. I objected, of course. So did the council. But here's how the system works. When you are a billionaire-backed operation, you don't argue. You submit reports, hundreds of pages long, written by consultants who charge more per hour than most farmers make in a week. Everything checked, everything compliant, and every single objection quietly crushed under paperwork. The council said the same thing every time. It's legal. It meets regulations. There's nothing we can do.